So how do you revive a dead email list? I'm talking about a list that you built for your business that has not been emailed in a while. You haven't sent anything. Maybe it's been a few weeks. Maybe it's been a few months. Maybe it's even been a few years. And you know you have this list of people in there who they signed up at one point. They were interested in what you were selling, but you're like not sure what to do because do you just start emailing again and act as if nothing happened? Like what's going to happen when you send the first email? Is the list dead? Is it even salvageable? Can you still sell things to these people? That's what I want to cover in this video. My name is Chris Orzechowski. I'm an email marketing coach and consultant, and I work with online brands and online businesses who want to make more money from their email lists, and that's what I want to help you do as well. So let's get into it. Dead email lists. The first question that I always ask is, how dead is it? Right? What are we talking? Are we talking you haven't emailed in 2 months? Are we talking about you haven't emailed in 2 years? This matters to a certain extent, and I'm going to explain why. You probably noticed something. I'm going to tell you a little story to kind of wrap some context around this. So maybe this has happened to you. It's Black Friday. It's late November, and all of a sudden your inbox starts getting flooded with emails from companies that you bought from a year ago or 2 years ago or 4 years ago, and you completely forgot you were even on their list. So what do? You're like, not interested, and you click and you unsubscribe, right? And that happens all the time. You probably had that experience, I would imagine. The same thing tends to happen with a dead list. It's people forgot that they were even on your list. They forgot you even existed because you haven't been emailing them, right? Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to start emailing again, but you're going to do it in a very strategic way. So there's a lot of reasons why your list might be dead. And obviously, if you think you have specific deliverability issues, there are some different options that you have if you think deliverability is the key issue, and that's why your list is dead. And if you need some help with that, I have my Double Your Deliverability course linked up below. Super affordable and can help you revive your dead list if deliverability is definitely your issue. If you're not totally sure though, and you just haven't emailed your list in a while, here's what you're going to do. You are going to start emailing, but you're going to go to like the white hot core of that list. So the people who have spent the most money with you, people who bought from you before, people who bought from you frequently in the past. And we like to think about your email list like everyone thinks, like imagine like a big giant circle. Everyone thinks everyone's just jumbled up in there, and that's true to a certain extent, but there are concentric circles in terms of traffic temperature or engagement. Like on a gas stove, like the middle of the burner is usually the hottest, and then as you go out from the burner, it's a little bit cooler, right? And your email list kind of functions in the same way. Not all those email subscribers are created equal. There's some people who can be easily re-engaged because they bought from you multiple times, they spent a lot of money with the company before, and they just haven't heard from you in a while. So if your list is dead, what you're going to start doing is you're going to do some segmentation. The first segment that you're going to create is going to be a list of high value customers. So people who have high recency, frequency, monetary value, right? And depending on the size of your list, this might differ. You can create segments based on multi-buyers, segments based on a spending threshold, people who spent over a certain amount, people who bought certain type of products, a lot of different ways to do it. I'm kind of just giving a general overview here, but you're going to start mailing those people first. And what you're going to do is, let's say your list is 100,000 people and you have 10,000 total customers. You can start maybe mailing 5,000 of them. I would start there. Out of those 10,000 customers, the top half, right, the top 50% of those people, and start mailing those people. And all you're going to do is say, hey, sorry, it's been a while, haven't emailed you in a long time, had some crazy stuff happening, but we're going to start emailing again. We hope you stick around. We enjoy having you as a customer. And as a way to say thank you for being loyal and not, leaving our list in all these years or all these months, we want to give you some kind of an incentive. You don't have to do the incentive. I think it's a nice thing to do because it also can generate some cash. And if you have a deadline-driven incentive, you will know, because you'll have sales, not just opens and clicks. But I would start with those customers, particularly the high-value customers, on a basis of recency, frequency, and monetary value. The next thing I would do is I would mail the other customers, the people who maybe are not as high value but have still bought from you in the past. I would start sending a similar message to people if your email software tool has segmentation capabilities based on when was the last time someone opened an email. Let's say you haven't emailed in 3 months. You could include people who have opened an email in the last 180 days. Now, obviously, that's really going to just take people who emailed between 90 days and 180, but that's better than nothing, right? So if they were opening emails when you were still sending them, even if it was months ago, you'll be able to pull those people into a segment and start re-engaging them also. And then what you do is you just start doing gradual mailings to people who are further and further out. Right? So that's one thing that you could do. If you are an e-commerce brand, one thing you could do to re-engage a lot of people and get them back onto your list is using a tool called Postpilot. Now, Postpilot is a really awesome tool. It is, they send postcards, right? So you could hook up your database if you're using like Klaviyo. And what it does is it will actually allow you to, you have all those addresses of your customers and you'll be able to send postcards to those people with an offer to hopefully get them to reset their life cycle. And a lot of those people, maybe they've unsubscribed, maybe they never subscribed to your list in the first place, but they bought from you. You have another chance to to get them onto your list and kind of reset their life cycle and get them to start buying again. So I'll have a link for Postpilot. I think there's a discount if you use my link. It'll be linked up below. If you were an e-commerce company doing like at least $3 million a year, definitely hop on Postpilot. I recommend all my clients use it, and we make absolute insane ROAS. I mean, I've had postcard campaigns where we've made 279x ROAS. Absolutely bonkers stuff. I'm not saying that's going to be the norm, but that's one method to re-engage people by going actually offline to bring them back online. Anyway, using the concentric circles of engagement on your list, that's something that's going to start warming people up. Once you've started to warm some of these people up, the trick is, at this point, is to don't let them go cold again, right? So you can't just do this one time. You're like, all right, they're warm again, and then see you again in 2 years, right? Like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing here. What you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to get them warm, and then you're going to want to keep them warm. And the way that you do that is by frequent, consistent email campaigns and broadcasts, right? So what I recommend is you start emailing daily. Now, what's going to happen is, especially with a list that's kind of cold or dead or unengaged, some of those people you'll warm back up, and then you will lose some of them. And that's going to happen. Again, they were already lost before because you let them go cold. So don't worry if some of them unsubscribe. It's going to happen, especially if you have a list of a decent size. It's okay. You're going to make a lot more money by consistently emailing these people now that you've warmed it back up and you keep them warm. You're going to make more money in the long term that way. So what I recommend is once you've warmed them back up, you are going to start emailing daily. Yes, daily, every single day. And the reason why is because you don't want to lose them again, right? You've already risked that one time. Emailing daily is going to keep you top of mind. It's going to make you more sales. It's going to lead to a deeper level of know, like, and trust with the people on your list and your brand and your company, right? And ultimately, like I said, you're going to make a lot more money than if you email once a month. You know, people will forget. We get so much media. We are blitzed by media. We see thousands, maybe even 10,000s of ads or pieces of media messaging between social media and TV and everything else that it's easy to just forget that some companies even exist. You do not want to be forgotten, okay? You don't want to be the company that lost all of its customers or whose customers are leaving going to a competitor's brand. You have the ability with email for next to nothing. I mean, how much is email software? It's very cheap compared to the returns you can generate to constantly communicate with your people, constantly be building that relationship and moving those people closer to the sale. And the reason why you want to do that is because when you sell products, it is a win-win. When you get your product into your customers' hands, they are going to experience a win in their life and they're going to give you some money, which is a win for your business, right? So it is a win-win proposition. So don't be afraid of emailing. You're going to warm them back up, start sending to them, and then you also have an opportunity to, if you've sent a few warm-up messages, like I wouldn't just send one of these warm-up messages, I would send a few emails. Like all the people who didn't open that first email, send another email to those people. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a new segment for active and engaged subscribers. It's going to be a different set of criteria in terms of segmentation. That's going to be people who have opened an email in the past 30 days or 60 days or whatever it is, right? And people who have bought. And you're going to notice the opens in that segment are going to be a lot higher. And that's going to be like your daily email segment. And as you start warming people up from these other colder groups, they're going to naturally get kicked into that active and engaged segment because if they open up the warm-up email, that counts as an open. They'll be put into that new segment that you created. So I would start there and I would consistently start emailing these people, start making offers, and then just start doing the daily email thing like I teach. And if you need some help with that, get on my list and see how I do it. And there'll be a link below this video. The other thing I'll say is that if you are having deliverability issues, which could be the case, you're going to want to start kicking some of those really cold people. You know, if you've sent 3, 4, 7, 10 warm-up emails and people still aren't opening, you could unsubscribe them. I wouldn't delete them out of your system. I would keep them in a .csv file. Could even be something you store in a Google Drive or whatever, but just have that backed up because those people could be used for lookalike audiences. If you have their phone numbers, you can call them up and sell them something. If you have their physical mailing address as well, you could send them direct mail like Postpilot or postcards or even regular sales letters, things like that. But there's always something that can be used, so I wouldn't delete them entirely. I would just make sure we're not mailing those people anymore. And then you're just going to continue to work on growing your list with fresh new people via advertising, via lead generation, via affiliates, content, all those typical methods that work for growing your list. So you can start to regrow the list even bigger with fresh new blood. So, you know, like I said, there might be some other deliverability concerns that you have, and they could be very real. I would use a zero bounce or never bounce. Those are emailable. There's a few of these softwares out there. Well, they will actually take your email list. They will find emails that are spam traps. They will find emails that are no longer active. They will find even emails that are spelled incorrectly, or there's, you know, grammatical errors and things like that that cause it to be undelivered, or emails that are just bouncing all the time. And you could actually also pull those people out of the segment as well, so that it's not hurting your sending score as you're continuously sending emails to these people, either in the warm-up or in the active and engaged segment. So I would do all of those things. And again, there's a lot of these email, you know, list cleaning softwares, just whichever one you like, they'll work pretty well. I think I use Never Bounce. That's usually the one that I use, but they're all pretty good. And then the last thing I would say is if you have other deliverability concerns, which could be the case, especially if you haven't emailed in a while and you want a checklist with with troubleshooting instructions for how to solve each one of the common deliverability issues. I have a course called Double Your Deliverability. It's linked up below in the description below this video, and super affordable, like I said. And what it does is gives you a checklist that you could run through to make sure you improve your deliverability, make sure things actually reach the inbox instead of the spam box. And obviously that's important because when you're sending emails, if they're going to more people and they're actually seeing the emails that you're sending, you're probably going to make more money. So click the link below, grab Double Your Deliverability today, try these things out, and let me know how it works.